Hey YouTube, this is Prometheus, guys, giving you more than the meta. So guys, once again, I'm in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook. I like to usually show you guys defensive gameplay, but this guy was really not good. I decided to go ahead and feature some of the offense I was running against this guy out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook. Yeah, really the gameplay was not good. The guy wasn't really making good decisions. He was throwing into the coverage and turning the ball over a lot. So really there was nothing for me to show on the defensive side of the ball. But I want to show you what I do on the offense, and this works against good players and bad players too. What's cool about when you do run into a bad player is that you can expand your playbook and get away from plays that you maybe are not as comfortable with, you don't run as much, and that's basically the situation that I ran into with this guy. I did make one mistake on offense, and it was just me trying to squeeze in a pass that normally I don't throw, just because I was feeling a little bit cocky. Now, this is basically a twins formation. I've got two tight end situations going on right here. I've got tight wide receivers, and I like to use this auto motion run RPO is my base play because I usually check out of it, but it's a nice little play I do because I've got another play that actually blends into this scheme that I want to basically have that. Now, one of the things when I see is I'm going to look at basically the alignment of the defense. Look if I've got a wide setting with the defensive tackle. So this guy's in a wide 8. He's got a single high safety. So that's when I'm going to kind of jump into different types of plays. I think what I did is I hit this guy with basically the Wham play. This is a really good play against any type of formation where you have the center somewhat uncovered, especially uncovered. And what happens is this guy will come up and attack a defender, and then the center or the guard will go up to the next level. And if you get a good seal block with the tight end, basically you'll be able to run up and get some good yards. So you'll see on this particular play, I think I picked up about like 10 yards or 8 yards with this particular play. I flipped it just because I like the blocking on this side. This guy's going to seal. He's going to pick up a block a lot better because it's a star tight end. And you can see right here I get some really good blocking. And look at the blocking right here. This guy is in position to actually get me, but he's kind of hooked up. This blocking sealed right here. This guy's out of position. But look how those guys are really deep, already up at the line. So all I really have to do, probably the best bet, is try to get past this guy. But the problem with that is that this defender is actually not completely blocked. And right there you can see I pick up a good 10 yards on the Wham play. So this is a new play that I actually threw into this scheme, primarily because it's just a very effective play to run. Here's another adjustment I did. This is basically a quick snap scheme that has these quick outs. What I've done is actually I want to make my reads a little bit easier. So I do a little hitch route right here to give myself a fast read. And usually if a defender floats into the hitch, then I can actually look for this little angle route right here as my number 2 because they'll be clear. And if that gets bottled up by a user, I can go ahead and look to the 3. It's going to be that over the top post route. So you'll see me doing that a little bit later on. So you can see how this guy actually comes down. He's attacking. This guy's got outside leverage, meaning he doesn't have inside leverage. He's not going to jump the route, and I know I'm going to go ahead and pop this for an easy completion. So I was surprised on that being so wide open, so I just threw it right there and actually go ahead and rack that, get a 9 yards off that. So just a quick snap play, really nothing you can do. Here, I think, is the blend of the auto motion play. This really is reading this defender right here. And what happens is this guy slides out, he slides in and follows. That means I've got basically, man-man coverage across the board. And these are the kind of areas you don't want to. Now, usually if a guy's in man coverage, I like to look for this route because what happens is there's not going to be anybody out there, and I can usually turn that up for an easy touchdown. Usually this route is actually good for a touchdown too. It just takes a little bit longer to develop, and his user could be in that area. But this is where I normally go if I see the man read. If it's a zone read where these guys kind of float out, I'll be looking for the underneath route first, and then there's this little hitch route that kind of sticks here. This is going to be my number 2, and then if it's zone floating coverage, I'm going to try to hit this for number 3 because that route takes a lot longer to develop. So what I do is I try to get the ball away out of my hands as quickly as possible with that. But I checked out of it, decided to go with just a duo play and run the ball against this guy. So we'll come back to that play a little bit later on, which is going to be that auto motion. I think he did hit me with a man blitz. Right here, let's see here. I'm going to go to stretch. I love this because basically I just watch what happens with this guy right here. If this guy doesn't carry, I know I'm going to have the numbers on this side with the stretch play. So I'm going to flip the run from over to here, and I'm just going to quick snap it. And usually I can get outside leverage right away. So you can see right there, I snap it. Guys get lined up, outside leverage, and I got the sideline to myself. Pick up a couple yards. His user just didn't get out there quick enough, so that's one of the reasons why I like that. Now here's the auto motion version of this. I typically run it. I never throw that ball, but you can see how the blocking actually gets up really high. And now here's a play that I actually have thrown into my scheme down in the red zone. I really didn't like a lot of the red zone plays that I didn't have. I didn't have a full scheme, but what I like about this particular play is that this motion zig route, it usually is always going to be open. Now, what I don't like is I don't like having this guy over the top. I want to get pull defenders out to the sidelines to open up the zig underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy and flat him out. I've got this little route that actually comes up and comes down. The zig will come out and be open, usually typically right here in this area. And I don't want this route bringing another defender in the area. So what I like to do with this in route is I'm going to go ahead and put this guy onto a corner route because I don't want to have any defender that's going to be floating in that area with that zig. I want to clear out that zig. So this should be the setup right here. Set this up correctly with the route. And that's my route combination right there. So I do look for this particular route, but really it's the zig more than anything else. And I think in this type of situation, I actually missed through the ball. I was trying to throw to the zig, and I actually used the wrong spot, but I did get away with a completion and a touchdown. But that's a little mini play that I like to use down in the red zone. I just labbed up recently with that motion zig. It's very, very effective. So scores tied 7-7 against this guy. Basically, I go ahead and go into smash play. Sometimes a lot of times I like to go ahead and streak this guy up because this guy pull a guy vertical and give me a corner out. But other times I'd like to go ahead and just leave it as is, and the reason is I want to kind of see what happens with this defender. And I think this is all manned up in this type of situation. You can see defenders are actually covering. This guy's kind of covering over the box. He's coming over the top. And then I'm looking to, this is my next progression, but I froze because this defender's over the is there. Then I started to try to look. Actually, I think I was trying to complete the ball underneath, just try to force it in there. But his defender actually got into my face and actually stopped me there. So that play was a dud in that type of situation. Here's a play that I used to use a lot. This is something I sprinkle back in my scheme. It's just a spacing display, but what I like to do with this particular play is actually do a deep in route. And really what I'm reading is this defender right here just to see if he actually falls back into the zone and covers that. If he actually mans up or carries over, and I've got these guys basically covering flowers, this route right here should be open for an easy completion. So that's what I'm looking for. If this guy floats up into the zone and takes away that little hitch route, then I'm going to look to this route here as my number 2, my number 3, and then I've got 4 over here on this backside. And it usually takes a long time to get to that 4, but that's my quick progression. So you can see how this guy kind of floats up. I don't like that read. He's kind of like in the middle of the box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my next progression right here, and then I actually go to the third progression on the route. You can see that there was nobody there, and I'm able to pick up 8 yards. I think I know huddle because it's inside a 2-minute warning, and I'm seeing a man read because this guy carried over, so it's got to be man coverage. This guy isn't really disguising his coverages at all. And I'm actually looking for the corner route. Probably should have blocked this guy up based on him jumping into a man blitz, but I'm looking for the corner route for that. I get a release, and I just get rid of the ball too early, and the ball comes out a little bit further out. But you can see if I would have caught that ball, that would have been an easy touchdown off that particular play because he had leverage and positioning. I just missed through the ball. So right here I go into the corner go. I love this particular play. This is a great quick snap play to go and jump into, just because this concept right here with this whip underneath is money. A lot of times what's going to happen is defenders are going to float out, and unless he's playing underneath coverage and he's playing hard flats, that whip route is money. Just nobody actually plays it correctly. You can see how he gets really good leverage. I just, right before he makes his cut, I throw the ball, and I can pick up an easy 5 or 6 or 5 yards with that. A lot of times I'll get broken tackles with it too. So I know huddle, jump into smash read, and I don't have this set up correctly, and actually he actually makes a read. I'm really looking for this route against the cover 3 shell, what happens with Flowers is that he'll actually get across the coverage and he shall be wide open right over in the middle of the field. My goal is to try to make sure that this defender doesn't fall back into that zone. And I think I quick snapped it, show him a play, and you can see Walker falls back into the zone that I'm actually looking for. And he's got an edge guy off the edge that actually hits me. So that could have been a sack. I was lucky to get rid of that ball without taking a sack, but it took away that one read. It's just a play I throw into the scheme, but it's not something I actually use on a regular basis because it's just like, I can do it once, and then a lot of times what happens is people pick up in your tendency. Here's the Wham again. Look at the blocking with the Wham. Just a really, really good play. I love it. It's just an easy play to run. You get really glitchy blocking. And here is that passing play I showed you before. I'm just really watching this defender. And if this defender really comes in deep, that means it's man coverage. But if he kind of floats outside like that, it's zone. So I'm just going to look for the drag underneath. He's my first read. And I'm going to try to get rid of that ball. If defenders float up, I'm going to throw that ball underneath right away and actually go ahead and pick up the first down. So ran on the clock a little bit against this guy. Now I go ahead and jump into this play once again, and all I'm doing is keying on this defender. I'm seeing if he slides out and plays this. If he doesn't play that, basically I'm going to throw this route. If he does slide out, I'm going to look to 2 and then 3 over the top because that takes a little bit longer time to develop. So you can see what happens. See how the defender slides out? Okay, so he's going to be in position. He's looking for this little hitch route. So now I'm just going to come back to this route right here because this is going to clear out a guy. This is going to clear out a guy, and I should have a bucket wide open right here. The only thing that take that away is the user, and he actually follows the other tight end right here. I break it with Andrews, and I think I take a timeout in scoring position. So now I go back to basically this little scheme underneath. I think what I did is I might have hit this guy. I hit this guy with the crosser. So how I like to set this play up is I like to streak this guy. This is going to be my first read. This will be my number 1 read because I can get an easy completion. This little angle route up sometimes is uncovered. That will be my number 2. And then I've got a crossing route on the backside, which will be my 3, which if these guys are covered, usually a 3 will be wide open. And then I've also got this route, a 4 on the backside. But I will never usually get to the fourth progression. It's usually 1, 2, 3, and then kind of go from there. You can see the little underneath route. His defender's out of position. I'm able to go and get the ball in the end zone and go up on a score, and then I'm getting the ball in the second half. So you're going to see another series with me with this guy. So right here, jump in a mesh spot. Now I go back into this play right here with Olwen Trap. Anytime the center is uncovered, Olwen Traps are money because this guy's going to come up and get to higher level. I'm going to trap this guy. It's just a really good play to go ahead and use if your opponent doesn't cover the center. So the center's uncovered, and you can see the blocking was there. I tried to go a little bit too far off the left. That's the one thing about the Washington team. It's got a really good defensive tackle. I think it's Allen, I believe, is a guy that actually is really good. So right here I jump into a play where I make a major mistake. So this is a mesh concept. What I like to do is I like to read the sky if it's man coverage, and if it's man coverage, I've got a touchdown over the top. If it's zone coverage and these guys start floating back, then I'm really going to be looking for this little dragging route on the backside. He actually kind of uses it away, and then I try to squeeze things into this little hitch route, which I typically never throw. Usually I go to the next progression, which is going to be the over the top, because that crossing run over the top usually gets really good leverage against the defenders. But he's just sitting. Most people kind of like run around stuff because he just sits in the crossing route. I just don't like it. You can see these guys are all playing hard flats, so this route is dead. I look at this route. So I keep going out a little bit further, and I tried to squeeze it into a little hitch route. Now, if the hitch route was just a curl route stuck right here, but didn't go off on an angle, I could have got away with that. But I squeezed it in there and actually threw that out. So it was just a bad decision. I try to make a throw that I normally don't make a throw, and that when you feel like you've really dominated an opponent on a defense and he really can't do anything against you, you experiment around a little bit more. with things that you normally don't do. So back to the Wham again. This is a really good play to go and use against these open sets. You can see the guys are blocking pretty well. His defenders are pretty much out of position. We go into the stretch play. No defender follows. I'm just going to go ahead and flip the ball off to the left, and then I think I check out of it. I like the spacing. This guy's wide. His guy's wide. His guy's wide. I can do an inside zone, so he doesn't go too wide. Just to go ahead and catch things off. You can see the blocking's really good right here. This guy kind of just dumbs out and just sits right in the box. Doesn't actually attack the ball. And right there, I'm able to go ahead and break a tackle with a Henry. So now he actually goes into another wide 9 type stance, and I go ahead and jump into this play. Now you can see how this guy completely locks on. Once he locks on with his auto motion, I know it's man coverage. So this corner route generally is going to be open because it's some type of a man blitz or man coverage. And I've also got this route right here, and then you've got basically this drag route. But I really like this corner route on the backside. If I can get the play off, that could be a huge play. So we're going to watch this play develop and stop it after the play snaps. You could see that if this route right here actually gets leverage and gets out, I've got an easy completion. But the problem is that this guy's coming off the edge and I'm unable to get the ball out. I also did have this the center of the field wide open. You can see this guy's actually got leverage on his defender too. So just because the edge pressure came off, I didn't have enough time to get it off. But you could see that if I did get those plays off, I get those throws off, that could have been touchdowns. So back to this route again. Once again, I'm looking for this progression to read with this guy's in the area. I'm going to go ahead and look to this route, this corner route on the back side. So I think what happens is he actually uses that away, but I actually catch it right in front of him, and Andrews is able to go to completion. So that's how you can come back to that play a lot and just throw it into your scheme. Now I think I jump into duo, and the reason I want to jump into duo is that I'm going to get some double team blocking. And he's got 3 defenders off this side, but I'm going to get some double team blocking, and I should get a pretty easy running lane right up here with the duo. So that's one of the reasons why I leave this as one of my base audibles. And you can see the blocking's pretty good. I pick up 6 yards right there. So it's it's not, I'm not breaking home run balls, but it's one of those things where you just want to grind away people's energy. So now he's got this set. I don't think this guy really knows what he's doing, but he's got a really heavy set. I think he's doing a 4-4 type defense. So he's got 4 linebackers. He's really checking out to try to stop the run. I do a stretch play, which is going after the right, but I flip it off to the left. But look at the blocking. I've got a bunch of blocking going right here. I've got these guys right here, and I think that this center actually comes up and actually takes this guy out. We're going to see who takes this guy out, but right here, yeah, Andrews doesn't pick anybody up. This guy's get pancaked. This guy comes up. The blocking with the wide receivers is unbelievable. You can see this. I get an easy run into the end zone with that stretch play flipped. So that's one of the things about this particular offense I'm running. It is all basically run first, and then when I have to jump into a pass play, I can sprinkle into it. But I want to try to avoid that. Now here's a play that I typically don't use a lot, just because a lot of people have seen this play before. But I've showed this guy pretty much everything else in this playbook. But I want to have a quick read with this backside receiver, and I'm going to go ahead and look to this as my first read if it's man coverage. But if it's zone coverage, I'm really going to look to 1 and then 2, hopefully trying to hit this route, because this is the huge route that little crossing route you can hit. So I drag up Andrews, and I've got basically 7 people blocking. But you can see this is man coverage, and I could have thrown the crossing route or this route right here. I like to do the high percentage pass, so I'm going to hit the guys checkdowns underneath because it's just a higher percentage pass. You're going to have more accuracy with it opposed to that crossing route. A lot of people are looking to try to stop that crossing route. So I think I go ahead and jump back into duo again. You can see the blocking is really, really good. Pick up another 5-6 yards right there. So if I'm picking up over 4 yards in a run, I'm just going to stay with it. Go back to the stretch again. Here is, I think he's using some type of a bear front. And I'm assuming, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have some pretty good blocking. These guys are going to take these guys out. I got some seal blocking right here. I should be able to get out to the side with this. This didn't work in this front. This front basically ate this run up. against me. So I'm just trying to chew the run against this guy. You can see his user comes out with Wagner, gets out wide, and no one holds blocks. So it felt like I could actually get to the outside, but no one held their blocks, and that front basically crushed me. So right here, I go and jump into the play I've been using the entire game. Once again, this is my first read. I'm watching this defender to see if he supports it. And then I've got this little crossing route and this route right here. And I think what he does is he comes onto it. He realizes, okay, so that little route by the tight end on the backside is actually getting covered up. So you can see defender floats out. I'm going ahead and looking to this route right here. He's sitting there waiting for it, but I actually throw on the back side that deep post right over the middle of the field and actually catch it a little bit short of the end zone. So fortunately for me in that type of situation, I'm able to get a play right there. Go ahead and sprinkle in a draw play against this guy. He has a defender that actually shoots the gap and gets into there. And I decided, so okay, I'm just going to go pound the ball against this guy. I'm going to jump into duo. It's going to double team up front and then peel off to the back. A duo play is a really good play to use down in the red zone, especially if he's not using any kind of heavy box. After that, this guy quits out, basically checks out. So I'm probably going to be doing an entire write-up with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook, but wanted to kind of show you guys how I run my offenses and how I try to use more of a run-first game. So thank you for your support, guys. Until next time.